done nothing but keep African American artists working for bottom pay and bottom tier while still putting out Oscar winning and award winning content.
Yeah, I think
she's the devil.
Well, there we go. Okay, because that's kind of where we were all at with it. And
that young man that I was speaking to actually referred to her later in that conversation as the Black Ghislaine Maxwell.
I mean, that's not the title you want. I'm just going to say, like, I'm just saying that's not a good one. But that's kind of where we were all at, if I'm being honest with you, Jaguar. And
I'm still not understanding how Ghislaine and Naomi Campbell.
Listen, I don't know much about Naomi Campbell, but when you look at that woman,
I know her better than I should. I can tell you what her lip parts look like.
Listen,
and she showed me.
Listen, Jaguar. Okay, as much as I'd like to delve into that conversation, when I look at her,
you don't want to delve into that territory.
when I look at her, she's got this face, Jaguar, that is like one of those people that we were talking about before we started, incapable of love. She has this. This is not allegedly, this is my opinion when I look at this woman's face. She has a real level of darkness. And if no one else was around, she looks like she'd flay you for fun. Yeah. Okay. Like, that is what I get from her. And it's spooky, man. It really is.
It's very spooky.
Yeah. I mean, that's understated.
And yet it's so widely accepted as normal.
Yeah.
Like, why is nobody holding Oprah's feet to the fire about her relationship with Gail? After all of these years, it's silly. In this day and age, anyone who is if you're still lying about it now, it's just because you like lying. Nobody cares who you love anymore. Love who you want.
Yep, I agree. Consensually, 100%.
You know, a lot of people have issues with me. They say I'm polarizing. They say I'm contradictory. They say I'm hypocritical. They say, how can you believe in God and you can support a homosexual agenda? And how can you say that you're a Christian and you're a bisexual and whoopty-whoopty? And it's funny because they have this thing called the Bible.
Yeah.
And it says all kinds of real things that people skip over. Like you're supposed to love everyone as yourself, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
See, if we all followed that, there would be no crime. There would be no trafficking. You wouldn't be able to hurt a child because you would see your child when you look at that child, but there's a disassociation. And me and Jonathan Hay got into that briefly when we were talking for the first time at Real Life about how even though they all knew that Rihanna was a teenager, they were trained to not look at her as a teenager. They were trained to look at her as marketing her as an adult. They were trained to see, and that was their job.
Yeah.
It's systematic dehumanization. Turning a human being into a widget so you don't have to feel bad for what you do to it. And that's what realizing art has done. And now,
oh man, yeah.
You got quite a few questions coming about Clive Davis. So one person's asking, who tells Clive Davis what to do? And Queenie is asking, was Clive Davis involved with Gerald Levert?
I pray to God not, because Gerald is one of the great loves of my life. He was an amazing mentor. He was an amazing friend. He was an amazing artist. And at one time, he was an amazing love in my life when I was an adult. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when Gerald passed away. Actually, it was right around. And then Sean died 6 months after that. You know, a lot of people really don't even look at the bravery of Eddie Levert, Pop Eddie, or as we all call them, Uncle Eddie. You know, he lost 2 sons in 6 months who were stars in this business, and nobody ever really looked into any of that. They just blamed it on, you know, it's so funny. People say, oh, he died of pneumonia. Oh, he died of this. Oh, he died of that. And nobody bothers to find out what their health was like leading up to it. Look at Uncle Ron.
Yeah. Somebody was just talking about Uncle Ron in the side chat, actually.
All of a sudden now, he just died from pneumonia. Lobar pneumonia, just like Kim Porter.
Yeah, it's highly suspicious. It really is.
Russell Simmons going online after Jarrell died and blaming his death on bad health choices. And all you have to do is be like him and do a lot of yoga and drink wheatgrass, and you'll live forever.
Is that not testament to the cabal and who owns the media, controls the narrative, who owns the industry, controls the industry, who owns the bank? It just, as you know, as it keeps going. Because this is the problem that we face, Jaguar, is there's no way to, this is why we're all here now. This is how we get the truth out now, because there is no uncontrolled outlet in amongst this entire web. You know yourself, we're not talking about a bunch of people that got together last year, put all this together. This is thousands of years of bloodline tradition and things that normal individuals have no concept of. You know,
well, that's because they've been tricked into not acknowledging it. Hypnosis is in most of our programming. On media. You remember that movie, The Bad Batmans, before Christopher Nolan saved us all?